Well, it's just going to be a short one today because Tone Tuesday as it is, I'm sure. My body clock's fucked, so I made the mistake of staying up one night, or like all night into the morning. Massive all-night studio session. I was working on a trippy old tune. I just love it so much. I just couldn't stop. I think it was the night of fucking Malky's Out live stream, and it's so good to be back on the chat there. Speak to you all again, Mr. White, Slap and Sniff, Malk yourself, and everyone really. It's just fucking great. But yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick taste of a tune here before I talk just a little bit about, you know, whatever. I've got to, because it's like, yeah, I've woke up late. It's 2:30. I've got to go to the bank. Secret missions for I Wonder Gold. I'm looking forward to that. Floyd would be great. The more I think about it, I'll tell you what Floyd's really good for, right? Yeah, it's for rhythm, and you just like, you crack a note like, yes, it's you know, E minor triad, right? And I'm just hitting the top of the string. You just crack like a right, you just crack one of them. Right, you crack one of them with like a Floyd Rose. And the whole thing, it just like, it wobbles a little bit, it just wobbles a little bit. So you hit it high, and like if you're doing slight distortion, man, that sounds so fucking good. Anyway, I have just put another old string on the Yamaha. I've actually got a set very kindly donated by Chris the Snail Driver, and I'm going to put them on, but I'm kind of like, I want to actually make an episode of it. I'm going to do a string change episode, so look out for that one with the clickbait title. But yeah, have a little go on this. There's nothing to it. It's like, fuck all to this, really. In fact, I can't even remember the fucking tune. Rubbish. That's so rubbish, you couldn't even see me playing it. Yeah, anyway, it's like I say, it's a short one. And really, like the main thrust of this is about the joys of the humbucker. But you know what? I'm just going to give you that little taster of something. See, the idea of that, it's like, it's not the same now that I'm not completely stoned and it's not Black Night. Is it starts off kind of gentle and it just gets more intense, but it is like the same thing. And I'm going to just write more for it, you know. So yeah, I absolutely love delay, as you can see, but most importantly, I've got it on the end of my foot, and it's really important. I've got quite a few pedals that I've, over the years, you know, because it's really definitely my thing, right? It's absolutely my thing. So yeah, over the years, I've got a few pedals and bits and bobs whereby, you know, you can foot inject it, and it's like, you know, so when the pedal's up, so when it's off, okay, it's like it acts as like a volume pedal. Okay, so when it's off, so it's basically it's left on all the time. In my rig, it's left on all the time, and it's like when it's up, yeah, it's just dry, and then when you press the pedal, it injects whatever effect it is, like into the mix. And that's exactly what's happening here. This, by the way, is a very prized pedal of mine, George Dennis. I've had a few George Dennis pedals over the years, and I'm collecting these. So if anyone's got any of these George Dennis pedals that they want to sell, do let me know. Yeah, fucking, you know, that's exactly what's happening here. So, you know, dry. And then whenever you want, you know, you just inject it in there noiselessly. And, you know, what's wonderful about a little rig like this is like there's no discernible change when you like do apply an effect. There's no discernible change in the overall guitar tone because it's actually always there. It's hanging there, you know, waiting on just the volume pedal to inject it into the sound, and for me that is totally my thing. I mean, I absolutely love that. It's an essential part of my electric guitar rig. It's not something I've done with the acoustic, because with the acoustic, the acoustic has been like also for many years like in survival mode. So it's not been a case of like it was sort of at the beginning where well, not the beginning, but my first ever experiences of playing acoustic live, which were actually quite big audiences, and it was afterwards I started to go to open mics and stuff. Kind of did it the wrong way round. But it's like, and I actually was watching, I uploaded onto Facebook one of my gigs the other day. This is 3 songs recorded, and I watched that, and I thought, it's like, you can tell, because it's like at an open mic night, I'm not like normal. You can watch the gigs, it's like I'm not like normal acoustic players. I don't sit down, I stand up, and I like stalk into the audience. It's like, and I move around a lot, and I express a lot, very sort of frontman-ish, and yeah, I don't know, like, I think that does like make what I do stand out just a little bit, because it's like the songs are doing some of the work and I'm doing some of the work too, so it's like, it's a bit different to the normal stuff you see at an open mic night, which is someone sitting and singing and playing. And I love sitting and singing and playing, and like when you see me here, that's what I do. And when I do like acoustic gigs to camera, it's like that I sit down. But if I do a gig on a stage, I'm always standing up. Every now and again I stand up with the guitar, just to make sure I can still do it. Look at this wonderful strap. Right, my girlfriend crocheted this. It's like a strap cover. You can put any strap in, and they move around a fair bit. And it just so happens that this strap is branded Yamaha as Jarno Saarinen. I am Timothy Jarno Fox. Jarno Saarinen said, when anyone said, "How did you win that race?" he would just look at his bike, a Yamaha, and say, "I bet the machine," which was their catchphrase at the time, their advertising slogan of the early to mid-70s. But yeah, wonderful strap this, because it doesn't, your guitar doesn't slip around. So for Les Pauls especially, it's like, it's quite cushiony and wide, so it spreads the load, but it also keeps the guitar wherever you put it. So if you've got an SG or something that does neck dive, you want to get your crocheted strap. She actually makes these and sells them on Facebook if you want to find them. So if you're a Facebook friend of mine, you'll find it really easy. But yeah, just a quick one today. I've got to nip down the bank, so I've got to get going. Because the bloody bank shuts at 4:30. And I got to get a ton to Scotland as quick as possible, innit? Because my heart is, I have new weapons arriving to this armoury here. This armoury here is getting bigger and bigger. Now, I'll show you something. Alright. What we got here then, innums, right, is a hit list. And on a hit list, we have things written down, like equipment I need, like amps. Do you know what? I ticked every box on that hit list, and now start making up new ones. So, actually, yeah, new amps on the hit list. I want to get a little Line 6 amp of some kind. I've seen that even brand new, you can get a Line 6 Spider modelling amp for like £100, like one for this size studio. So yeah, I think Line 6 needs to be represented now that I've gone down the modelling route. So I'm definitely looking into getting a Line 6 modelling amp. The Vox modelling amp has been an outrageous success, I never expected the VT20 to be something that I would use so much for recording, like that it would basically supersede most other things. but it really has. Now, that's the Vox, and I've worked hard to marry it up to the expression pedal, the StompLab IIG. Now that's the thing with the injectable reverb on it. What's marvellous is you can, just apply any effect to it. My problem is starting to come when doing these things live. Now, I showed you the other day that I wrote a tune on it, and I bought an octaver because I wanted to run a more sort of typical rig, and that's fine. The octaver's fine. You can just stamp on that pedal. Now, people slag off Behringer pedals, right? One, if you're stamping on it so hard as you'll break it, I don't think you should be using pedals. Certainly don't be buying Boss pedals. Hand on heart, I think Behringer pedals are about as tough as Boss pedals. And if you want a really quick review of Behringer pedals, here it is. Pretty much exactly the same as a Boss pedal, but with less treble and made out of plastic. Pretty much every pedal you can name, there's a Boss clone, is exactly the same. Sound just a little bit there's a bit of treble missing. So you need to give it more, you mean to EQ it with more treble in mind. For sure, I think the Boss ones are better. Don't get me wrong, I do think they're better. But I think the Behringer ones are workable. And so, if it's a really important effect, I'd say an SD1 or a BD2 or an HM2, right? If it's a really important pedal that you use all the time, buy the Boss. If it's a pedal that you sort of buy the Behringer, because it's going to give you 95% of what the Boss gives you, all right? And I totally understand if it's a super overdrive, if it's this is one of my main drives, right? If it's a tube screamer, if it's your main drive pedal, or whatever, I can totally take the other 5%. But you'd be surprised how good the Behringers are for the money. I certainly have been. And I think probably the one that the best that I've come out of, because I bought a few of them, but it's the one that I've come best out of, I would say, are these, which are based off of they're clones of the old Ibanez Black Label. And together, and they work exactly to my ears at least, pretty much exactly like the things that they're cloned from. I think that they are both also they both kind of whereas on with the Boss clones, it's you can notice that they're just not quite as bright. With the Ibanez clones, it's they're just as warm. It's weird. It's a strange thing, but they do. I think these are fucking brilliant. I really think these are fucking brilliant. This is my standard tube screamer. I use this all the time, and I don't give a fuck. I do not care what anybody says. That is the fucking tube screamer. It works for me. And it's now, tube screamer is very much something whereby I would spend the money, and I was gonna. And of course, with so much other stuff, I'm a guitarist. I want to buy guitars, right? And there's guitars that the studio needs, and things like pedals that are going to cost as much as a guitar. They're going to come later. I'm going to get them later. So the tube screamer is such a fucking vital pedal to me. It really is. That I was snobby because I used to have the Black Label TS808 and fucking got a little bit snobby with it, okay? Because you get used to that 5%. It's like my original Governor, alright? It is just a touch warmer and more dynamic and more... just a touch than a Korean one. But you took maybe not even as much as 5% in the case of the Governor. Maybe. A lot of people swear by the original made in Britain ones. I don't know. But there is a definite notable little difference. It is a little different. Like I said, warmer and just a touch more sort of dynamic. A bit more everything, really. But Yeah, I kind of had priced myself out of the Tube Screamer game. I was like, I just can't afford to get something that I would like, so I'll just have to leave that for a bit. And to the point that I didn't even like the new ones, like the hand wired. One of the last things I did in Chichester before I left was trying out the hand wired Tube Screamer, and beautiful looking pedal. I really wanted to like it, but it's just like I wasn't quite happy, and I couldn't tell you why, but it was because I had an old Black Label, you know, the Tube Screamer that all other Tube Screamers are spawned from. And Josh, JHS Pedals, demoed on his channel. He's doing like, what's the deal with Behringer or something like that, or do cheap pedals sound good or anything like that. And he did a side by side of the Behringer to an exact, like, you know, an old Black Label, and it blew me away. It was like, holy shit. And it's 20 quid. I'd seen them in Amazon. I'll tell you what, I'll give that a go. And that was that. The one that I looked at, which I kind of fancied, just based on its look though, and the feeling, was this one that was like 2 modes. It's called the Demon. And it's like a nice green pedal, a little green pedal, and it's called the Demon, and it had TS9 and TS808 switch, you know, one or the other. And I thought, oh, that's cool. But would it actually be any good? It's a good question. It has the right chip, but a chip and a circuit, you know, a chip does not make a pedal really. Apparently. But yeah, I got the Behringer for 20 quid. It was the first Behringer pedal I got, and I fucking can't believe how good it is. You know, it just blew me away. And so then I was much more open to it. So I immediately got the compressor, like pretty soon afterwards, out of the same series, because I used to have those 2 original Ibanez pedals. And I mean, you're looking at like 3 or 4 grams worth of pedals now. If I was to buy the pedals that I used to own, it would be like 3 or 4 grand. It's ridiculous. Like, I think the compressor's 800 quid and the Tube Screamers go for like 3.5. Fucking not joking. But it's like almost buying that. It's like almost buying that Tube Screamer, playing it, finding out that it works, warmed me up to cheap effects in general, and I'm far more embracing of it. Like, you can see, like, 2016 I got back into it. Now, pedals are the sort of thing that you can afford if you're cheap, and you can look at photographs. I had the same pedals for ages. I wanted a Metal Zone, and then that came. Like, but for ages I was on the same 3 fucking pedals, and I had all the pedals I wanted. Except the Metal Zone, which finally came. And yeah, I got like then I got a fuzz, like, for my birthday from Luke Baker as well, and like that was me set really. I wasn't after that much. But then, like, when I finally bought the Tube Screamer, I've been buying pedals ever since. I bought another Tube Screamer ever since, which I actually prefer, and I would have never fucking put a punt on that because it was going cheap. The Michael Battio one that's got the boost. It's like, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I just wish the Toad Screamer, Toad Screamer, that needs to be fucking used. Sometimes the Toad Screamer does just knock out too much. Anyway, I'm waffling and I've got to get to the bank. So it's been a pleasure. There's going to be more of these, and I'm sorry I just dicked around today, but I wanted to just make an appearance. So I will see you soon. Bless you. Check out Lee Luscious. I keep meaning to make a video about her. My buddy Lee Luscious. She's the fucking best. Like, I go out my way. If you go back and listen to like my GGPs, Guerrilla Gig Podcast, please go back and listen to them if you haven't already, where I'm playing my songs on acoustic. Go and have a check of that. Check out like the Super 8 Rescue channel and their stuff from getting my stuff from the early 90's. I'll put a link to that below. I won't be able to do it until like an hour after the video's up or whatever, but like, because like I've got to set this to upload and fuck off, so like I won't be able to do certain things straight away. Yeah, check out. So he's got like my stuff in the late 90's done in a proper studio, But yeah, please go back and have a look at my Gorilla Gig podcast. You'll have to go back to like 2019 and further. My gigs as well. Like, go back and watch my gigs. Like, you know, like that's where I'm at. Like, this, what you've been seeing here is very much different. This is what I love to do. Like, this isn't what I get paid to do. Well, I love it all, but like the acoustic songs are almost a different beast, and I'm dealing with them separately, recording as well. And what you're seeing here is like the sort of the sort of psychedelic metal stuff, which is where I live in my head. Psychedelic metal. And you've had a little taste of that today, and that's where I love to be. But yeah, but check out Jim McAndrew, Trauma Blue. He's a spacey little chap. Wonderful little player. He's got a real gift. He's very trippy. He's very bluesy. He like lays down like with a looper and plays on top of it. It's beautifully done. Got a nice little SG special, I think it is. And he's a progenitor of the Marshall Code. But yeah, fucking awesome. Please comment below. Please subscribe. I'm desperate to get someone new subscribed today, and like 2 people left at the same time. I want to crack that 200 mark. Anyway, fucking love and peace, yo. Bless you, and stay safe out there.